Angel Dust walked down a long hallway in the back of Valentino's studio, having just finished shooting a brand new movie. He was pretty sore, and all he wanted was to lay down and never wake up. He walked into his private room to sit down for a bit, but his ears picked up a sound coming from the room next to his. Crying. He knew who that room belonged to. It was Nightmare, who was like a little sister to him. He knew that she had just finished a video shoot as well, and from what he heard, she hadn't had a very good time. He felt the need to see if she was all right, so he knocked on the door. Nightmare's voice came through the door, sounding rather upset.
Leave me alone.
Angel Dust was taken aback at the bluntness of her reply, but he knew that she never had patience for anyone when she was upset. He just tried knocking again.
Come on, Nighty, it's me.
I don't care. Go away.
She spoke again, and sounded like she was trying to stop her tears. Her door was never locked. Val didn't allow any of them to lock their doors, but Angel always tried to respect her privacy. Angel sighed, and opened the door and walked in anyways. He saw Nightmare sitting on the floor, not having gotten dressed yet, her tail speckled with blood. She looked exhausted and in pain, and Angel wondered why she did this. Val didn't own her soul like he owned Angel's. Nightmare could leave whenever she wanted. Nightmare tried to ignore him, not wanting to talk. She knew what he was going to say. He had said it many times before. Angel kneeled down next to her, reaching out to ruffle her hair. He knew that she hated when he did this, but he felt like he couldn't help it sometimes.
You know, you could have turned down the shoot.
No, I couldn't. You know what Val does if we turn down a shoot.
Her voice was cold and bitter. She had said all of this before. She would likely have to say it many more times, as Angel wasn't planning on leaving her alone anytime soon. Angel's expression darkened, and he put a hand on her shoulder. It was always the same excuses with her, and it always ended the same.
You know, one of these days he's gonna go too far. You have an out, why don't you take it? You've got it a lot better than most of us here. He don't own you.
Maybe not like he owns you.
Nightmare spoke bitterly.
He still controls me. I can't leave. You don't get it. You're not in my position.
Angel moved to kneel in front of her, staring her down. He was getting annoyed at her. He had heard this too many times. It was always the same thing with her, going on 60-something years now.
Then explain it. Make me get it. Make me understand why you keep doing this to yourself.
Nightmare was silent. She was silent for a few moments before she spoke.
Why now? Why are you asking me to explain now? You've never cared before.
His annoyance was replaced by guilt, and Angel turned away from her. That hurt to hear, because he knew she wasn't completely wrong. He didn't want it to be true, but he had never really considered this situation from her point of view.
I wasn't thinking before I was being selfish. I wasn't thinking of your situation.
Nightmare sighed.
Val threatens me to make me stay, because I have a choice. He doesn't have to do the same to you, because you don't have a choice. I do, so he has to find ways to make me stay.
Angel nodded, finally seeing the bigger picture here. He knew Val was manipulative. He was like that to everyone. He should have guessed that he was doing worse to Nightmare in order to keep her there.
He hurts you too, like the rest of us. Not just by doing that, but he still hurts you. You should look for a way out. There's ways to hide from him.
Nightmare shook her head, remaining adamant that she wasn't leaving.
I can't leave. I can't. Val would kill me. Even if he wouldn't, I don't know what else to do.
She sighed, her ears drooping in defeat.
This is all I know.
Angel's heart ached at her words. He knew that that was probably the real problem to some extent, that Nightmare didn't know anything else other than the life she was stuck in.
He wouldn't kill you, Nighty. He makes way too much money off of you to just kill you.
Angel sighed, giving her the offer that had been given to him not too long ago.
You could stay with me at this hotel if you want. It's called the Happy Hotel, or Has Been Hotel. I guess that radio bastard changed it. It was on the news, remember? That'd get you out from under his thumb, at least.
Nightmare lifted her head to look up at him, her eyes full of hope. That was the first time he had seen anything other than misery on her face for a long time.
I remember seeing it. You really think the princess would let me stay?
He smiled, seeing that she had gotten a little happier. He reached out to ruffle her hair, and received a swat at his hand. He chuckled at the familiar reaction from Nightmare.
She lets any riffraff off the street stay there. You'd be a whole lot better guest than the rest of them. She'd be stupid to say no.
I think I'd like to meet her then.
Nightmare grinned, perking up significantly.
And maybe that oh-so-attractive bartender you've been telling me about.
He rolled his eyes, but chuckled at her excitement. He was honestly happy to finally get her to smile about something.
Yeah. Charlie will be happy to see a new face. And I get a feeling you and Husk will get along great. Want to go meet him?
He held out a hand to her, offering to help her up.
After you put some clothes on anyways.
Nightmare rolled her eyes at the mention of her still not having clothes on, and took his hand.
Yeah, whatever. The further I am away from Val, the better.